everyone, welcome once again to Vicious Chats. I'm Tim Vicious. With me today, he is an actor. He's done movies like Zombie with a Shotgun. It is out there on Prime Video. Do recommend you check that out. He's also got other movies in the works. Please give it up for Kyle Hester, dude. It's good to have you on here.
Hey man, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I know your Preacher 6. That's one I know you're working on. That's like your current project at the moment. How you holding up? How's that coming along?
Man, it's been a grind. It's I started like a bunch of years ago. Then basically like long COVID I had long COVID for a while. Better now, and so that kind of put a monkey wrench in things, and so. Just grinding away, and we're gonna get it done. So it's gonna be awesome. I can tell you that. It was Carmen Argenziano. It was his last film, so he was a friend of mine, and we met on the set of Andersonville, way back in the day. John Frankenheimer directed that, and so it's like if there's ever an opportunity that I had that I would want to work with Carmen, and so it's like we had that opportunity. And so there's no way that the film's not getting finished.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I know he popped up on my radar originally when I was a kid watching Stargate, so as Jacob. So yeah, I was like, oh wow, this guy's good.
Oh yeah. No, he's awesome. He was amazing.
Yeah. So for those that is it all right to give like a quick synopsis about what Preacher 6 is about, or like, I don't want to give away. I don't want you to run, like, if you want to keep.
No, the synopsis is out there. It's basically, a small town preacher comes to the big city and ends up fighting demons in a literal sense. So it's like it's a little bit of a Quentin Tarantino, kind of vibe. And so it's not a religious film, if anyone is curious about that, even though the title says Preacher 6. So it's but it's a little bit of it's kind of like a dark noir, adventure in like a time and space where demons are real and on the planet. So,
oh wow, that's cool, man. So, did you come up with the story yourself, or was it something that like you worked on, or?
No, actually, my wife wrote this. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Tracy Ray. She's awesome. And basically it was like we had just come off of a film that I had been working on and been involved with for a bunch of years, and it kind of the rug got pulled out from underneath of us. So not by my doing, but by the person that wrote that script. So after like 5 years, all of a sudden, like, okay, well, we're not involved in that anymore. So it was like I was so pissed, at like all the time wasted and stuff like that, that I was like, you know what? Well, screw it, so let's do something ourselves. And then, I'd had a couple of cocktails, and my wife she was inside, and she'd had a couple of cocktails, and we're all just like pissed off, venting. I'm throwing axes in the backyard, and, just like getting it out. And I walk into the house, and she's like whispering, "Preacher," like that. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you saying? And she said it again. And she said, I don't know, but this is going to be awesome. And it's like, and that's kind of like where Preacher 6 began was that day of something burns to the ground, and then, it's out of the ashes. So.
That is awesome, man. Yeah, and kudos to you also for doing axe throwing. There's an axe throwing place right around the block from me. I go there just like, and I'll spend an hour to just take out a month's worth of stress.
That is awesome, man. Yeah, we had a yard back in that, and so I would like, plywood isn't the greatest for the target, so I cut up a bunch of 2x4s and like cut them like this. So you had the veins of the wood so it could stick easier. So I put like,
that's how they got it set up there.
Oh, cool. Well, fantastic. I didn't know anyone else had done it like that. So I made a big frame of it, And so yeah, if you wear out, you just kind of replace a couple of 2x4s, and yeah. So we need a yard again, man. Right now we don't have a yard, so it'd be weird just to go out on the sidewalk and throw axes. It will be frowned upon.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to go and do that with like my knife, just simply flick and then just,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have a couple of bows, so we would we got a bunch of hay bales and put them out in the backyard, and so we'd shoot the bows in the backyard, and it's good exercise, and it's good to know how to do things.
Yeah, did you ever try bow hunting?
No, I never hunted, never had the opportunity. But it would be difficult to take a shot, with a bow, knowing that, you gotta be perfect,
Yeah. I'm in PA, so it's second nature. All PA kids wind up taking up doing hunting at some point or another.
Yeah,
I never did bow, but that's always something I always was interested in.
Yeah, for sure. I just have like a Hungarian horse bow, so it's like 45 draw weight. It's like it's decent, but it's not one of those out, with the sight and like all that kind of stuff, like one of the OG style.
Yeah, not like one of those compound that's like with the drawstring with 500-pound resistance and all.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, those are cool, but I mean, I kind of like the original style.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with the classics with ancient weapon designs. They worked during that era for a reason.
Oh yeah. It's it's in there. I mean, thousands of years. So thousands of years can't be wrong about most things. So
yeah. I mean, what I explained to me and my brother, we were talking about this because a guilty pleasure we'll watch every now and then is Forged in Fire, and anytime they ever go and make something with a Damascus blade, you always just see me like looking like I'm getting ready to claw my eyes out. Like, no, every time you do a Damascus, it's nice for show. It's not really good for use.
Yeah, I love that show. Yeah, I've watched every episode for sure.
Yeah, so you see what I'm getting at though, because I'm a big knife guy.
Cool.
So I love knives. I always look for ones that are for practical use. I don't just get them to put them on a shelf.
Yeah. Do you like use them like for cooking and that kind of thing?
Not, more so for like everyday work, like utility work and all. Because like, what's it? I got one right here. I got a karambit I use just for everyday work when I'm at work. Nice. If like I have to unload freight or something, and I'll just consistently, like once a week, just put a little bit of oil on it so that way it can spring out like real quick.
Very cool. You gotta have a good one for sure. I've done a lot of carpentry and construction, so it's like it is a tool for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So how'd you get into acting?
You know what? It's like when I was a junior high, man. It was like basically it started out, you can have electives in school. So it started, I wanted to be in band and play a saxophone. And then when I got into the class and they realized that, or I realized you have to have an instrument, and I was like, Mom, well, this is going to be $800. And she says, well, we don't have that. And you want to pick something else? I was like, all right, I'll do drama. So then that was like basically the 6th grade. And then I did that and just fell in love with theater. And so basically ever since then went to Performing Arts High School in Houston. And so, yeah, it's kind of been like a lifelong thing.
That's cool, man. So how was it when you first started out with acting compared to like on how you're at now? Do you feel like there's a big transition, or was it like small little steps compared to on how the business has changed?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, a lot has happened. There's kind of a few different ways to answer that. As far as like the ability. I think that like you either kind of have the innate quality to kind of interact with people on like a soul level, you know, or you don't. So, and some people find it very easy to get, and some people don't. So it's like that's why you'll have like you know, like method acting, you know, it's like, which is very, you know, repetitive and memory based, and you know, all the kind of stuff that takes you out of the moment, but that can give really good performances. I hate it. I hate method. I don't like working with method actors because, you know, of that. It's like, can we just like talk? So it's like there's no. It's a very disassociative kind of way of acting, you know. So, but they teach it everywhere, you know. It's like, and in all the schools that I've been to, you know, it's like it's part of the curriculum, you know. So you have to do it, you know. But so there's that aspect where you're kind of like in either a natural, you know, and a method. But as far as like how things go, like in a career, man, it's like you know who you are, you know, like you can look at yourself objectively, you know, like what do I look like? What are people going to want to see me play? You know, because like an actor always wants to be able to do anything, you know, like you know, I can be a beefsteak tomato, you know, I can play anything, you know, like that kind of thing. It's like people want to stretch and do that kind of stuff, but it's also good to know your own face, know your body, and, you know, embrace that, you know, and try to improve where you can. But it's like, you look like what you look like, and you can't really do anything about that. So yeah. I think that like, if you have like that, the ability to be objective and go, okay, this is how people see me, so I'm going to go after these types of roles, you know. So
okay, yeah, kind of like you can see yourself being somebody like a John Wick kind of character, but at the same time you also want to kind of see yourself being able to do something like a Mr. Bean.
Right. Okay, like Steve, you know, like Steve Buscemi, he's an amazing actor. He would never play John Wick.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so know who you are, do that, go after, you know, those things, and be brilliant at what you can do, you know. So, or how you will be perceived, you know, to other people. You know, it's like Tom Cruise played, you know, Jack Reacher, you know, yeah. And Reacher he's like supposed to be 6'3", 5'5",
like 6'4", and built like a linebacker from what was written in the books.
Yeah, exactly. So people didn't buy it from the beginning because it's like, you know, Tom Cruise is like 5'7", 5'8", maybe, you know. So it's like and that's all the producers, you know, whoever produced that movie, you know, just went for like, you know, the big guy. I think so. That's an outlier. I'm not really sure why I brought that up, but I think it's back to, you know, knowing who you are. I think is my point. Unless Hollywood decides that they want to put a short guy in there, and that's something else.
Yeah, I get that, because I mean, wrestling is a big thing for me, and acting and wrestling, while on paper they don't necessarily look like they're the same, but in a lot of ways, pro wrestling and acting really are.
Oh yeah,
because you know, you got to know your character. Like in my case, I got the name Tim Vicious because me and my buddies, we made a backyard fed, and my character was the bastard son of Sid and Nancy from the Sex Pistols.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had to go and do a deep dive, figure out stuff about Sid, the Pistols, and then it was, okay, now I know all that. Now how do I make that into me? And I never tried to do like a British accent. I couldn't do one if my life depended on it. But yeah. I just would have that Pistols, yeah, screw the world kind of attitude. And I would just carry it, and you'd just be like, wow.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And to your point, it totally is. You know, it's like you gotta embrace the whole thing. It's like, Roddy Piper, I mean, it's like, yeah, that was part of his person. You know what I mean? But it's like he fully enveloped, when he was on, it's like, that's a nasty dude right there, Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly, man. That's exactly it. And I'm trying to think, what was it? I saw this documentary, Piper. He was talking about when they were filming They Live. The infamous line, "I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass." That was something that he had written down in a little notebook for cutting a promo, and he just brought it up to John Carpenter, and he was like, "I need to put that in the movie."
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. He had a notebook with little one-liners to put out. And it was just like, I got this one right here. You go do that. Do that right here with the bank scene.
Have you seen The Chair?
The Chair. I'm trying to.
Okay. So
may have.
Yeah. Then you have not. The Chair was Roddy Piper's last film. So I was in it, and I ended up becoming the producer of The Chair. I was brought on as an actor and ended up being the producer of it. But it's a dark horror. So if you like horror, it's he plays like the head of the prison guards, which I was one of the prison guards, and he was amazing in that. And that's on Tubi. So you can check that out on Tubi.
I'm definitely going to look that up when we're done this, because the last movie I saw that had Piper in it, it was this religious movie. He played a wrestling promoter, and it was a priest who was moonlighting as a masked wrestler.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now. Oh, this is going to drive me nuts.
Right on. Well, I'll look it up. Religious movie with Roddy Piper.
Yeah, it was, because Piper, he was a secondary character. He was just a promoter for a wrestling company.
Okay.
I think that came out. Trying to think. Can't remember the year. Oh well.
Yeah, he was really, really good. I mean, like, as far as just straight up acting. I mean, it's like he played such a subtle evil guy, in The Chair. It's like all of the little thing with the toothpick that he played. He always had a toothpick with his character, and it's just like the little choices that he chose. It's like just brilliant. So yeah, I recommend it.
That's awesome.
But it's dark. It is dark.
Oh well, not a problem. I'm good with horror. I like horror. I like horror movies. So
cool.
You did say you did producing work. What do you think which is easier for you at the end of the day, doing the acting or the producing?
Acting, 100%. Yeah, because you do the thing and then you go home, and like when you're producing something, it's like you're producing your shows. So you're doing everything, so you're responsible for everything. So the actor is what it looks like, how the post-production comes out and all that kind of stuff, what the set looks like. It's like, it's a lot of weight so like people think like, like the director is like the guy, on a film, when really the producer chooses the director. So so producing something there's a lot more responsibility, for how something ends up looking, because it all comes down the sound. It's like you got to pick the sound people, the lighting, and all the art department. If you have stunts, you got to have make sure you have all that dialed in. And so it's like, yeah, producing is a hard job for sure.
you ever feel like maybe that might be something you'd want to transition to more full time? What if and when you ever feel like, I'm ready to hang up my boots?
Well, I mean, we have plans for films that we're going to be doing. So yeah, once Preacher 6 is done, we're going to roll into another movie. It's like a 100% camp horror film. It's called Vampire Watermelons Must Die. So like full on trauma.
I'm already sold on the name. All I'm thinking is something like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes now.
See, there you go. It paints a picture. Just the title paints a picture. So yeah, so that's gonna be next. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna produce that. So I'm gonna play one of the vampire killers. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be funny.
That is definitely awesome right there. And I'm glad that you brought up the fact that it's going to be camp, because I don't know about you, but with horror movies nowadays, a lot of it just, there are some good ones out there, but a lot of them, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like a lot of them just seem like they're going for like more gore, for the gore and jump scare effect. I don't know. How do you think?
I totally agree. It's like, it seems like this time has gone all in on the gore and the jump scares and the creeping suspense, and it's kind of like the formulaic thing where and it's all different versions of the same thing, whereas like kind of thing that I love is like Army of Darkness, where it's just like ridiculous and like, what the fuck did I just watch? You know what I mean? It's like, that's just like it's just cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. It's funny. It's and you can do like exploding heads and like all the things that people want to see, without it being like watching somebody's finger get cut off slowly. I mean, it's like that. I'm not. That's not me. So, but I know there's an audience for that, obviously. But that's not.
Yeah, because my son? He's 15. He absolutely loves the Terrifier franchise.
Right.
I'm kind of because I just feel like they kind of overdid it with the blood and guts. It didn't make me sick or none. Just felt like, dude, that felt a little over the top.
Yeah.
But we absolutely both can agree at the end of the day, though, the 80s remake of The Blob is one of the best movies, one of the best remakes out there.
The 80s remake of The Blob.
Yeah.
I had not seen that.
Oh man, that's one of his favorite. We got he actually wanted me to get him the Blu-ray for Christmas a few years back.
Nice. Well, okay, that's on my list then.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Trying to think quick way to run through it. It's set in like small little suburbia town. Meteor crashes into Earth. Guy discovers the meteor, and then the Blob just starts going through the town on a rampage.
Right on, man. That sounds like fun. Yeah, I mean, it's like you got all the like the Leprechaun, series and like all that, and Chucky, and all those kind of like campy, cool, like funny lines. It's like Friday the 13th. It's like you have like some through lines, but it's like there's the central character that is the monster, the creature, the scare, person, and you can identify with them, and you wait for them, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen, and I think that it's like, so it's like it's a lighthearted thing that you're watching that something bad's gonna happen, as opposed to like just like waiting, just sitting there anxious and being terrified because the grossness of something. So, but I mean, there's just different styles. So, and I think that we know what my preferences are. Yeah,
I get that, because that's very much so the same with me. I grew up I say all the time, I love my horror movies from the 80s because they're cheap, independent, and personally, I think practical effects are way better. I think the practical effects in the 80s are way better than what they're using now.
100%. 100%. And when we do vampires, it's practical. So yeah, so we're gonna use like you're gonna see there's gonna be a lot of watermelon guts on the set. I can tell you that for sure. So
if you got somebody in there that's a vampire slayer that looks like Gallagher smashing a watermelon, then next thing you know, that's going to be an Oscar winning. That deserves an Oscar right there just for that alone.
Oh my God, I love it. That's right, Gallagher. Okay, that's gonna fucking happen.
Oh my God, that's great. See, there you go. There you go. We're gonna find a way to make that in there.
Yeah, that's gotta go. I'll tell my wife she's writing the script. So yeah, but an ode to Gallagher. I used to watching him. It was so funny.
Oh yeah. So I know you're big into the Norse and Viking culture. I am also. I don't know if you noticed. I always have my Mjolnir on.
I same.
Yeah, I got my Mjolnir and I always wear my arm ring.
Yep, same.
There you go. That's what's up, man. Man, respect on that.
By the way, this is Thursday.
Yeah, well, yes, this is being recorded on Thursday. So, what got you initially interested into the culture?
Well, actually, funny thing, my wife was in the kitchen one day, and this was like we were going through like a bunch of like stuff, like difficulties, life, money problems, and all that kind of stuff. And she was in the kitchen, and like 50 crows like landed on the little garage outside of the kitchen, and this crow was like hopping, and it was like kind of looked like basically on a wire, and just like looked inside and was just like looking at her like what's going on like right now. And it's my great Norway. So, and I had never like been, I mean, like half my family's like Catholic, and I never identified with anything with any church thing. It was like, that's for them, it's like, so that's how that was. And then we just kind of like looking into it, and it was like, yeah, this is right. This feels right. And like the animism of it, like everything's connected in Yggdrasil, like the world, and it's kind of like it fit with the way that I saw the world anyway. Like everything is connected, and like the Norns, which would be fates, for people that don't know what that means. So it's like how there's many levels to our lives, and think that you are able to kind of explore the different yourself through that. So I think that, I mean, I smudge every morning, walk around the house with sage, and do my thing and say stuff, put out some positivity, and so it's just become a part of who I am, and I think that it's like realizing that you are connected to your ancestors, and I think that like we have like pictures of our ancestors up on the altar, and some other things with the sage and stuff, and so it's just like reconnecting with the ancestors and land spirits. So it's kind of like, to me, it mirrors a lot of like Native American, like their religion here. It's like an earth-based thing where like the holy people would be the gods, So it all kind of fits. It's like human beings have to put words to something for us to be able to communicate about what we're talking about and like what things mean. You have to have words. So it's like you're going to have different ways type things, but it's kind of like we're all saying the same thing. We're all like people of this earth because we're here, but there's also people on the other side, that are with us and helping and, guiding and, stuff. So I guess it's complicated.
No, I believe it or not, I do understand all that, because a lot of that's very much so parallel with me. I grew up in an Irish Roman Catholic family, and just never really just like understood like, well, okay, and just went through the motions with everything up until like until I became an adult. I always studied, I was always fascinated with like Norse mythology and the Norse culture, and I did like a couple reports when I was in school, and that's what piqued my interest. And it was like the more I dug deep into it, and I was just like, I really get these. I really get this. I really get these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now everyone in my family just is just like, yeah, just go give it to the Viking over there. So yeah.
That's funny. What's funny is that it's like, so your family's from Ireland?
Well, no, well, yeah, easy for me to say. My descendants came from Ireland.
Sure. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, basically, the Viking, that's you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When they did the invasion in Ireland, because I even brought it up and I showed the historic notes to my mom, because she was like, "Oh, they didn't have much of an impact on it." Oh, the hell they didn't.
No, yeah,
the Irish were on the verge of extinction up until they invaded, and then when they invaded, they took some for slaves and they took some of the girls, and you can imagine what they did with the girls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's it? It's a city in Ireland. It was basically like founded by Vikings. The coastal, one of the coastal cities on Ireland. But yeah, it's just like the migration, of all that. Definitely a lot of it went to Ireland, Scotland. It's like if it's up there, it's impacted, by it. So yeah,
exactly, man. It's that's I'm glad to see that we connect on that aspect.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, and the thing is like it's not something that that a lot of people understand, or there's it's like but I'm pretty out there with it. So I think that I kind of see myself as someone that can represent something that will make it easier to understand and to identify with another person, instead of like thinking that like all people that that believe in like Norse mythology and the heathens and like all that kind of stuff, that they're all just like a bunch of crazy people, which we're not. So it's like yeah. So I think that it's good to be able to put like positivity out there, and it's like I'm like something. It's like if you saw my on my Twitter page and my Blue Sky, it's like one of these things that I hate them racists, and I think that people will put that on top of heathens as well. And so I just want to put that out there. That's not the case. It's like there's those kind of people you're going to find in everything, so I think that but dispelling those myths as well, I think is important, and I try to do that.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
So, is there any particular actors that's on like a bucket list, like, man, I'd love to work with this guy or that guy?
Well, yeah, I mean Jack Nicholson would have been the guy. You know, he's not acting anymore. But yeah, that was definitely my bucket list was Nicholson. So I didn't get to do that. But yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow because like so many actors are coming and changing and going through, you know, like the different generations of people. So I actually don't have a bucket list, you know, right now. I'm just kind of looking. I'm just looking forward to the bucket to get into.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And I said, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here today. I do appreciate it. I say this to everyone. You could have been out there doing a million different other things, but you chose to be here. You got my eternal thanks for that, and you're always more than welcome to come back anytime.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. I'll come back, you know, anytime. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you, and just, you know, keep doing your thing.
More than welcome, man. Definitely, we'll talk more about the films that you're working on. But any plugs, any platforms you got, by all means, before you.
Yo, you know what? You can look. I'm Kyle Hester. I'm easy to find if you're on Blue Sky. Kyle Hester. If you're on Twitter, Kyle Hester. YouTube, I've been on too. Kyle Hester. I'll give you a shout out on my next video, and I'll put a link to this when there's a link to this. So yeah, and I think those are the things. You can check out Haunted Lake Lanier. It's on Amazon, or if you use the Fossum app, which is it's like Tubi. So it's just pretty cool. Fossum, and you just look up my name and Kyle Hester on that, and some of my documentaries will come up there too. So yeah, we just got to keep going, brother.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to come on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend. Anytime. I look forward to it.
Definitely.